All right, now we're working in Module 7, which is linear equations and absolute value. I'm David Dipple. As before, I suggest you go through this along with the printout and then take the skills check. All right, number 1, solve. Multiply 2 times 4 is 8x. 2 times 1 is minus 2. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 6 is minus 18x. 3 times 2 is 6x. 3 times 5 is 15. Now we combine our like terms. 8x and 18x, they're both negative, so it's 26x. 12 minus 2 is plus 10. Now I'm going to subtract 6x, so subtract 6 here, and subtract 6x from the 26 makes negative 32x. I'm going to subtract 10 from 15 to move this 10 over. 10 minus 10 disappears, and 15 minus 10 is 5. I'm going to divide, and I usually put the negative on top. You can put it at the bottom or the front, so it's 5 over 32. Okay, second one, solving for y. I need to move the w over by multiplication, so it's a times w, and it'll cancel on this side. Need to move the 2x by subtraction, so it's aw minus 2x is equal to y. Interval notation and graphing, we have two inequalities. I'm going to move the 4 over, so I get 3x is greater than negative 17. Divide by 3, you get negative 17 over 3. Then I do this one. Subtract 6 gives you 16. Divide by 5, and it gives you 16 over 5. So I'm bigger than negative 17 over 3. I'm less than 16 over 5. So the interval is a parentheses because there's no equal sign, the smallest one. Then the bigger one, and it gets a bracket because of the equal sign. Now if I'm going to graph that, I just take this same thing and put it on a graph. 17 over 3 is negative. Gets the parentheses. I keep going until I get to the 16 over 5, which gets a bracket. Okay, solving this equation, I would multiply by the denominator, which is largest, which is the number 12. That's your common denominator. So multiply this by 12, that one by 12, all four of those by 12. So 12 over 1 times 3 halves, times x over 12, and times 23 over 6. Okay, 12 will cancel with this 2, leaving 6 times 3 is 18x. This is 12. These 12s cancel, so I'm left with x. 12 divided by 6 is 2, times 23 is 46. Now I'm going to take my x and subtract x from both sides to move this x. So make 17. Combine these first. 6x is x minus 46. Then I subtract my x. 5x is negative 46. Divide by 5, and you get negative 46 over 5. And hopefully when you're doing these, it'll come out to be even numbers. I just happen to make up ones that when they worked all the way out to the final end, came out to be fractions. Okay, we're going to solve this inequality. We distribute first. 12x plus 5. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 6 is minus 18. We combine our x's. 6 minus 3 is 3x. 18 and 5 makes negative 13. Take this 3x and subtract. 12x minus 3x is 9. Subtract 5 makes negative 18. Subtract 5 on this side disappears. Subtract 5 on the right side makes negative 18. Divide by 9, and you get x is greater than negative 2. Okay, interval notation, that means from negative 2 to the right, which is negative 2 going on to infinity. There's a parentheses because it's not equal. And again, it's greater than, so here's my negative 2, and I'm going bigger. And when you get way out here, you're in infinity. This is infinity, way over on the right side. So it's going from negative 2, never stopping, so it keeps going to infinity. Okay, 6. 3 times 2 is 6x. 3 times 9 is 27, minus 6x. And this right side just stays. Okay, your 6 and 6 disappear, so you have 27 negative is equal to 3x plus 3. Subtract 3 from both sides. Get negative 30 is 3x. Divide by 3 on both sides, and you get negative 10. Writing an equation, the product of 5. So I'm going to multiply 5 times 3 more than a number. So it's 5 times, I put parentheses, 3 more than, so I added 3 to a number x. So it's 5 parentheses x plus 3. Okay, 8, another solve. 5y minus 20 plus 8y. And then 10y plus 30 minus 15. We're going to combine like terms. 5y and 8y is 13y minus 20. 10y just stays. 30 minus 15 is 15. Need to move our y's together. I have 10 over here. I'm going to subtract. Move this 10 with subtract 10 makes 3y. I'm going to add 20 to move it over to this side. 20 plus 15 should be 35. So we have our 3y. And again, 20 plus 15 is 35. Divide by 3. And you should get 35 divided by 3. Now, number 9, solving an absolute value. With an absolute value, you do two things. First, you leave everything, just remove the absolute value. So you have 2a plus 2 plus 12 is equal to 8. And you just solve that. 2 plus 12 is 14. Subtract 14 gives you negative 6. Divide by 2. So a is negative 3. Then you change either the left side or the right side. I'm going to change the right side. Just pick one of the sides to change. So I have 2a plus 2 plus 12, and I'm going to change my 8 to a minus, because an absolute value is either positive or it is negative. I'm sorry. Let's go back. Change what's inside. Negative 2a minus 2 plus 12 is equal to 8. So you leave the whole thing, leave the inside, and then change the inside. It's safer. Don't change the outside. Just change the inside. And then you have, when you combine your 12 minus 2 makes 10. So it's 2a plus 10 is equal to 8. Subtract 10 from both sides. 8 minus 10 is negative 2. So your negative 2a is equal to negative 2. Divide by negative 2. And your a should equal 1. Okay, 10, solve. If you'll solve this one, add 9 to both sides. So negative 21 plus 9 should be negative 12. Divide by 2, so x is less than negative 6. With this one, subtract 8, you get negative 14. Divide by negative 2. Makes it less than, because we divided by a negative, 7. Now I want everything that's less than negative 6 as well as less than 7. Well, so if I put 7 on a number line, less than would be going left. And it has to be less than 6, so these are the only ones that are both less than negative 6 and less than negative 7. Okay, how long is it going to take? 180-mile trip at 78 miles an hour? Well, you just divide 180 divided by 78.5, so then your miles will cancel, and you have, I believe, 2.29 if you want 2 decimal places per hour. Okay, number 12, write an equation. Twice a number, that's from your 2x, is equal to, equals 5 more than. Normally when it says more than, I have plus, in this case, 5 at the end, 3 times the number, so it's 3x. You could change that around and make it 5 plus 3x. Now the value of an old toy is 4/5 the value of a bicycle. So I just write down toy, call it T, 4/5 of a bicycle. Together, so toy plus the bicycle is 27. Now I can't solve that, so I change my T to a 4/5 B. So I have 4/5 B plus B is 27. Now I have a fraction, so I multiply this by 5, gives me 4. Multiply that by 5, gives me 5b. Multiply 27 times 5, it's 135. Combine these, gives you 9b. divide by 9, and b is 15. Now we're going to find both of them. Since b is 15, I go over here. 4/5 times 15 should be 12. So T, your toy, is $12, and B, your bicycle, is 15. 14, solve this one. Distribute. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 1 is minus 3. You have your x. Okay, combine 15 and x is 16x minus 3. Put your x's together. Add 1x because you have a minus over here. I'm going to plus it over here. 17x. Have a minus 3 to move it. I do the opposite. Plus 3 is 34. Divide by, because you have multiplication, and you get 2. 17 goes into 34 twice. Okay, telling of something as an identity. Identity just works out, and you get the same thing on both sides. Conditional is when you work it out and get x is equal to some number. Contradiction, you get two things that are not equal to each other. Okay, 0.1 times 28a is 2.aa. 0.1 times 4 is 0.4 minus 0.8a minus 3.2 is equal to 2a minus 2.8. If you combine these, 2.8 minus 0.8 is 2, and 0.4 minus 3.2 is minus 2.8. They are the same, so that's an identity. Okay, simplifying, I multiplied. 4.5 times 3b is 13.5b. 4.5 times 5 is 22.5. 5.1 times 2 is 10.2. 5.1 times 2 is 10.2. Positive. Then I combine like terms. Your 10.2 and your 13 is 3.3 because you're subtracting. Your 22.5 and your 10.2, when you subtract those, is minus 12.3. Okay, 17. Another absolute value, we just drop them. Get 2x minus 2, we just leave those. 22 minus 3x. Just leave them both. Add 3x to both sides, make 5. Then add 2 makes 24. 22 plus 2, and then divide by 5. Divide this by 5, you get x is 24/5. Now I'm going to change one side. I happen to pick the inside of this one, so it's negative 2x plus 2, and I leave the 22 minus 3x. I pick one of them. I picked the inside of this one. I'm going to add 3x, makes 1x, and then subtract 2, so x is 20. So whenever you're doing absolute values, you leave everything, and then you change the inside of, I always pick the left one, but you can pick the right one if you want to. Okay, 18. We leave it. 4x minus 4 greater than 8. Multiply by 9 is 72. Add 4. 76. Divide by 4 is 19. Then you can change the inside or I can change the outside, but when we change it, since changing is multiplying by a negative, okay, I have to change the inequality to less than. So 4x minus 4 over 9 is less than negative 8. Multiply by 9 is 72. Add 4 is negative 68. Divide by 4 is negative 17. So bigger than 19, less than negative 17. And the final one, you leave the 2x plus 8. Subtract 8 makes 2x is less than 4. Divide by negative 2, and you get x is greater than or equal to negative 2. Then we're going to, again, flip the inequality, so it's greater than negative 12. Subtract 8 gives you negative 20. Divide by negative 2 gives you x is less than 10. Again, I divided, so it makes it less than. Now I'm bigger than negative 2. I'm less than 10, so I'm at negative 2 and 10. They both have equals, so they both get brackets, and I'm in between them. So that's all those.